Um, I'm here for two things: testimony and also encourage mothers. Yeah, because God has been faithful to me and my son. And number one, I want to appreciate my husband who has really stood up for this child. Um, Barry, please give me a sec. I will join you soon. Yeah. So I really want to appreciate my husband who has stood for this child because so many few or so many fathers out there has come across maybe having a child with birth effect or a kind of deformity. I have heard so many stories where fathers abandon children because of one congenital disorder or one birth effect. So I want to use this opportunity to appreciate him and to all the fathers who stood for their special needs child. May God bless you all. May God grant you all your heart desire. May God fulfill all your wishes because it's not easy. Yeah, I have a child who was born with his liver outside his body back in 2013. Yeah, Great Victor is a special child, and he was born with a congenital disorder called omphalocele major. Omphalocele major is a rare condition whereby babies are being born with their organs outside their body. It can be intestine, it can be heart, it can be liver, it can be kidney, name it all. But in his own case, it was his liver. Yeah, it was on top of he was born with his liver on top of his stomach. So in 2013, back in Nigeria, the only thing I know is he was my third child. I was never a drunkard. I was never into any substance at all. And while his pregnancy scan never picked anything of such. During labor, I was due and I gave birth to him normal. Then the only thing I heard was, go call the director, go call the director. What is this? Everybody was like shouting, what is this? While on the labor bed, I was trying to raise my head to know what they are talking about because nobody was saying anything to me then. The only thing they were saying is a surgical case, is a surgical case. And finally they called the medical director and she was like, hey, Madam Onyinye, I want you to be strong for your two kids. This is a surgical case and I don't know what is in there, but I'm going to refer you to either UPTH because I gave birth to him in Abia State. And he referred us to UPTH. He said this surgery can only be done either in Enugu or Port Harcourt, and the closest was Port Harcourt from Aba. So we proceed on that 7th day. The doctor looked at him and like he needs to do a scan first to know what is in the sac sitting on his tummy because it was just like his sac. The stomach is completely closed and there was a sac within the navel sitting right there. So there was a scan and the scan confirmed that it was his liver. So the doctor who did the surgery, his name is Dr. Bobo, back in Port Harcourt. And he was like, this is a big surgery, that he's afraid it might be successful, it might not be successful. It's just like a 50-50 chance. So then my husband was transferred in Lagos while I was in Aba. So I didn't tell him, because when it comes to panic attack, he doesn't have mind to withstand things like that. So to fast forward the whole thing, the surgery was done. But after 3 days of birth, because the doctor was like, he's not assuring us anything, that he's going to place him on only IV fluid, no food, no water, no breastfeeding, that he just wants to empty his belly to see if returning the liver will fit in his belly. Because of the condition he was born, the position of that liver, it was so large, it was larger than the size of the baby. So he needs to kind of empty his intestine, his bowel, to see if that will create space to fit in. And it was a terrible experience. So that's why I said I am here to encourage mothers and as well to give testimony. It was not easy, but mothers out there, if you're a mother, you are here listening, please, if you have a special need child, let me tell you one thing that I have experienced, and I am certainly sure. Do not run to anybody for prayers. Do not run to any man of God. I am not saying prayers is not good. I am not saying man of God is going to man of God is wrong. But let me tell you, you as a mother who has given birth to that child, you are 100% in charge of the life of that child, more than when another person is praying for that child. Your heart, your commitment, your dedication, your love, your cuddle, your bond, the blood that connected you from the cord that was cut when you gave birth to that child is more important. And to add it all, your words of declaration upon the life of that child matters a lot more than anything. So fast forward, the surgery was done, and it was successful. After 7 days, normal way the doctor will come and say, come and check the stitches. He kind of remove the plaster and check the stitches. Then he said, before then, the doctor said he cannot return the liver to the position, that he will only use skin to cover the liver, just to protect it from not being contaminated.
Wait, to cover the kidney on top of the body with another skin, like external.
Yeah, the liver is outside
yes,
his
it's
stomach.
outside. But now another skin they will use cover them.
So he now wants to use his skin to cover a kind of, he will cut him open, but he will use skin to cover it. He is not returning it to the right position because of the size. He said he doesn't want it to.
I beg, make a clap for mothers when they go through a lot. Make a clap for mothers again. You see, for person to give birth, can't also give birth to any child will be say there's some little bit of issue. Easy. Continue, my sister.
So he said the size of the liver is too big, that he doesn't want to choke other organs. So he's not taking it to the right position, that he just wants it to be under his skin. Then when the child grow, by then he will grow muscles around the stomach. Then they will do a final repair. So he now did he called it primary closure. So he did that primary closure after 7 days of the surgery, for him to review the face of the site of the wound or the stitches, the skin, which he used in covering the stitches, the plaster pulled off the skin, because he was trying to remove the plaster to see the stitches. The plaster peeled off the entire skin and everything becomes open. That is a story for another day. And
Hey.
it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. Then I was asked to give up on the child. And when you look at the child I was asked to give up, if you see his face, he's okay. He's so bright. He's so, in fact, you can't do away with him apart from what is on his belly.
Mm.
At some point, I have to ask them to discharge him because there was a lot of back and fronts. I was doing self-medication at home for like 3 months. New skin regrow and cover the liver.
Mm.
Fast forward to 2022. This child, this child grew up like every other normal child. His name is Great Victor. He is so brilliant, so intelligent. No any slow development at all.
Mm.
No physical deformity, nothing, nothing.
Nice.
He grew up like, in fact, among all my children, he was the one that walked at the age of 8 months. He started
Wow.
talking. When I mean talking, making sentence that you can hear.
Hmm.
Then he will always say, my dodots, dodots, dodots is yogurt. My
Mm.
cotton mon is
Mm.
golden mon. He
Mm.
will let you know that then he was a year and 3 months. He was literally making sentence that you can hear. My children doesn't speak early, but he was the one that was so smart. He worked on time. He started speaking early. Then we were thinking the weight of that stuff in his belly will have
Mm.
development, but no, it didn't affect. And
Hey.
he was doing good. He was okay mentally, physically, everything. He was okay academically until
Hmm.
2022. We
Hmm.
were asked to bring him for a final repair surgery.
Hmm.
I said no, since we are planning to travel out. My husband was like, let's do it. Now he's in Nigeria since they called it primary closure. At first, we applied for taking him outside the country to do the surgery. The hospital where they did that primary closure in Port Harcourt shut down. I couldn't get a comprehensive report of his history
Hmm.
because, yeah, because if there is any hospital who should give me a referral letter, it was that hospital that did the primary closure at birth. So then he was not sick, he was stable, and being born with liver outside his body, apart from that surgery he had at birth, he was never admitted in the hospital. He has never been blood transfused for any
Hmm.
reason. He has never fall sick. His sickness is either malaria, cough, that's all.
Mm. Normal. Mm.
So he was healthy and sound. And we started applying for visa to a kind of take him out to the US. Because that hospital was shut down, I had to take him to a hospital where we are using a family hospital. They said they don't have his comprehensive history and they cannot give me any information about him because they didn't do any
Mm.
surgery, of which I agree with them. I said, okay, can they refer me for a scan so that they will know what is in his belly, because they wanted to do the surgery. I said no, that I know what I experienced. I wouldn't want to go through that trauma anymore. It's not funny, it's not easy. At times, we wear makeup, we wear wig, we wear clothes as if all things are going well with us, but what wig, makeup cover is a lot. So I try to tell them that only me alone know what I went through, and I wouldn't want to go through it in the hands of Nigerian hospital, that they should transfer a kind of write a referral letter. I
Yeah.
choose a hospital, Vanderbilt Hospital in the United States, and they gave me their cost of estimate. I think then they gave me around $15,000. Then
Mm.
in the back in Nigeria, I make sure that I have up to
I gave you another 10 minutes
five.
just in case.
Okay, I make sure I have up to 45 plus in my account. I printed the statement and everything. Then I needed a referrer. In that referral, it was written based on mother's request. And I got to embassy, it was denied. The consular said, if Nigeria can do this surgery, why do I want to go to US? I tried to explain. After so many grammar, they didn't listen.
Mm.
So the second interview visa we went, they said they cannot grant him visa because he has no health insurance in the US. So I'm like, why will he have a health insurance in the US when
If
he's
it's
not
not there,
living in
I
the
would never
US? I
been
am
there.
not living in the US, and he has never. I needed a best medical attention for him, and I was charged $15,000. I have up to $45,000. So why do you want him to have? At the end, after all the grammar, it was denied. So that was when we gave up and decided to do the surgery in Nigeria. 2022, I picked this child from school. He was not sick. I repeat, he was not sick. I
Mm.
waited, school dismissed. I picked him from school. I took him to the hospital. In fact, they billed us roughly 1 point something million for that. They call it costume surgery. They call it final repair. They call it correctional surgery. These are the three names they call it, and they billed us millions. And he went in for that surgery. They messed up the liver. They ruptured his bile ducts. You know, bile ducts, that greenish thing that whenever you are killing a chicken, you must not let it burst.
Mm.
They burst it.
Hi.
They burst it. If you go to this page now, you will see where the bile was leaking outside his skin and it was filled in the cup we were. It was terrible. It was terrible. The child went through hell. At some point, when they messed up this whole thing, you know, there is an adage in Igbo language that if a mother got angry, he will like, nwa m, ị ga-akwụsị ihe ị na-eme, ị ga-ata ahụhụ dị ndụ rie anụ onwe gị n'ọnụ. You know, I used to think that that adage is like an adjective that a mother would use to qualify the level of pain, that if you don't stop, this is the level of pain that you will go through. I never knew that a scenario can happen to someone where he or she will watch himself chewing his flesh by his mouth. Exactly, it happened to this child. And you know, my
Hi.
happiness is a professor who did this surgery messed up his liver, ruptured the bile duct. This scenario played in his present where he was 8 then, but today he's 11, going to 12. Where this professor was right in the room when I don't know what happened. I saw him putting his hand in his mouth. He will use the teeth, he will cut the flesh, he will chew it like gum through the particles of his flesh. He will spit the flesh and the blood filled in his mouth in all the nurses and the doctors. At that point, they were like, Madam, do not put your hand, leave him. If your hand entered his mouth, he will rip it off. I'm like, I can't leave this child. There is nothing wrong with this child. I brought this child to the hospital healthy and sound. How come is he behaving like somebody who have mental issue? What's happened to this child? This is a child I picked from school, and even the picture, everything is still on my phone up to today. If he was sick, I wouldn't have bring him to the hospital. How did I arrive to this place? Then they began to explain that the liver has collapsed, everything, that the toxic, there is this toxic that liver do absorb, that the liver couldn't absorb, couldn't function anymore, that toxin had entered through his bloodstream. From bloodstream, it has entered his brain. That was the scenario. At that point, he was not himself and he was dealing with pain. We are referred to Lagoon Hospital, Ikoyi. We spent only 3 weeks in Lagoon Hospital, Ikoyi. His bill was running 15 point something million, and we paid. 3 weeks and 4 days, and we paid. But then they say he needed another surgery. But all of them knew the damage that has been done, and nobody wants to attend to him. They called all different types of doctor. Even they brought one doctor from Ilife, Dr. Latishe. That one came. He asked who did this. They mentioned the prof name, and he said if this prof did this thing and it went like this, he cannot go in. In what is it called? There is this big hospital in Lekki. I think I have forgotten the name. They brought an intervention radiologist. His name is Ahmed. He came, he charged us 1.4 million just to conduct a procedure to see if they can connect a bile to channel the bile leakage, because they burst the bile. So the leakage was not accumulating in his belly. At that point, okay, I said, refer me, let me take him out. I flew him to India. On reaching India, Indian began to weigh his previous medical reports before the surgery and after the surgery. The doctor was angry. He was like, Madam, how did you arrive to this stage? This child with previous medical scan, CT scan and everything, what the scan has, he was healthy. How come? The liver was, he was not sick. The liver levels, everything, numbers is okay. Healthy. How do we arrive that the liver is now traumatized, it's no longer functioning? I went ahead and explained that he was born with this congenital disorder and all that. That was when the doctor was like, who attended to this person? I mentioned the type of the doctor, that is a pediatric surgeon. He was like, no, 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 no. That this case should have been a case of gastrointestinal doctor, a pediatric liver transplant doctor, and another GI doctor. I think 3 team of medical doctor. He now went ahead and explained that the child liver is healthy, that all he needed was a liver resection because of the size of the liver. That what happened to this child was the stomach was small, but the liver was large. What he needed was to reduce the size of the liver. That liver do regrow. They will cut a small amount that will fit in his stomach so that other organ can also function well. They shouldn't have returning the liver is as good as them squeezing the liver.
Yes.
Because of the size that they squeezed the liver, that was how the liver went traumatized and the bile burst. That they started showing me picture of bile, how it was hidden.
We too like
inside.
pash. Everything for Nigeria na pash.
The doctor went ahead and started showing me how liver is, how the bile is hidden inside the liver. So by squeezing that the child liver is large, not that he's sick. And his belly is small because that liver has never had its space for the first time in life to the right position. It grew in the wrong place. So they need to check, make a proper space. At the end, although it was something else, Indian told me there is nothing they can do, that the only thing is transplants.
Hey.
And it's quite unfortunate that a child who was not sick is going through transplants. That is so painful. And they were like, we need to act fast. If not, that bile is toxic. By the time it starts running, touching other organs, it might lead to damage. Although, lo and behold, my son has underwent 4 organ transplant as I speak to you right now. And currently, he's battling with organ rejection. Out of the 4 organ he has underwent, he's battling with one of the organ, which is the small bowel, because he received liver, pancreas, small bowel, and large intestine last year. So I sent you a test day before yesterday. I am supposed to come up yesterday, like you said I should come up yesterday. But for the past 9 months, I started work yesterday. I have been in the hospital with him in Canada here. The only thing is, I feel bad, but in one thing, I thank God for life, because I know that there are so many out there who has not gone through what this child has gone through, but their life ended just like that. But at some point, I feel like not to say anything to this doctor and his family, because whatever I say will automatically go to his children. But to be honest, no child deserves to go through this pain. Even an animal does not deserve it, because it's not a journey to wish anybody. In my darkest moment of life, I keep telling myself that, God, I will wish to go through this alone, even if I have to wish the person who caused this damage to my child. That is the last thing I will ever think of, because if I wish that person, automatically I'm wishing the person's children. And I never knew that after transplant, there is something called rejection, which is even worse than the symptom. And at this point, his rejection is one of the rejection that Canadian hospital here has never experienced. No cure, no remedy, no solution. We were a kind of, I was watching him excruciating in pain every single day of his life. At some point, I began to say, all by na by, it's better to buy in peace than to buy in pain. Say, may God come take him. Because the pain was unbearable. The pain was nothing to write home about. In fact, I don't wish this to anyone. Even my ancestors have not seen what I have seen. My forefathers have not gone through what I have gone through. And why I am here to give God all the glory. I am here. At times I ask myself question, who am I for God to show me mercy, not to let me cry over this child? Despite all the pain, he still sustained him. I am here to encourage mothers. Please, mothers, do not give up. Do not break down. The worst thing you can do to your child at the darkest moments of their time is to break down or to start looking for self-pity. Please don't do that. There is a saying that says spiritual covereth the physical. In my own case, I disagree. The physical covereth the spiritual, because if you are not strong in physical, spiritually you will be weak. But you see, physically, when you stand strong, choose to be strong for everything. Refuse to break down. Refuse to accept everything that is happening. Keep giving that child courage. Keep giving him hope. Keep hugging him. Keep holding his hand morning, afternoon, night. See, that's your action in the physical. Will supersede the spiritual. Because physically you did not give up. And spiritually you will not give up. But when you break down, started looking for self-pity, looking for people that will sympathize with you, looking for people that will tell you what you already know, because at that moment, all you need is to be strong for that child.
Yeah.
All you need is to stand for him and wage every war, be by his side, both physically and spiritually. Keep prophesying, because the only thing I remember I kept saying was, great. That thing that did not happen 11 years ago when I gave birth to you
will not happen now.
will not happen now. Not
Fact.
even doctor's mistake.
I like that. I
Not
like
even
that.
doctor's mistake. And he will keep telling me, Mommy, I will not die because of another man's mistake. Mommy, my name is Great Victor. I am great. I will earn a great victory. I will held his hand and we agreed. Amen.
Amen.
And you see that single declaration physically, it has already been sent out in the spiritual realm. So I don't know about others. I said for me, in my own case, I believe physical covereth the spiritual. Physical conquer the spiritual. Depend on how strong your legs are mounted on the ground. Mount your guard. That child, that's your family, it is your territory. If you don't protect it physically, you can't protect it spiritually. If you don't defend it physically, you cannot defend it spiritually. If you don't speak good in the air physically, spiritually, you will be weak. You won't do anything. So, mothers, may God bless you all.
Amen.
And to my late mom, I don't know wherever she is, I love her. Because at some point, I will cry in my darkest place. I will say, how I wish you were alive. I would have shared my pain with you. Because the worst thing that can also happen to someone is when you are in pain, you are going through difficulties, you have no mom to share your pain, you have no dad, maybe siblings is just another. I don't want to go into that. The only thing I kept saying is, God, the story that I could not share with my parents, with my loved ones, do not allow that story to consume me, because only you knows that story that I have buried in my womb that I couldn't speak to anyone. And you know, here in Canada, it's not like Nigeria where you have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Oyibo no send you.
Isolated.
Oyibo no send you.
I know.
The person will die in silence and resurrect. I never knew what is emotional trauma, but it has dealt with me. But at the end, I conquered. He's still in the hospital, and I am so happy that they have been talking about his discharge either this month or next month. This is 10 to 11 solid months. After battling with the one of the organ, it was later evacuated. The small bowel was removed because the pain was so much.
Hey.
Right now, he's living without digestive system.
Hey.
He's not eating, he's not drinking, he's getting all his daily nutrients through IV. There is something they call PTN, parental, I think home parental nutrition. Is through IV, through IV. But in everything, I thank God for life. At times, I ask myself question, who am I? Who am I? For the past 9 months now, my child has not eaten nor drinking. But if you, please do me a favor. I post a video recently of him because I went yesterday to pick him from hospital. He said he wants to go for a pass because there is something they call a pass. Someone who is not discharged, parents can just come and pick the child and stroll around and bring him back. So we went for a pass. When he was returning back to hospital, he said I should make a video and post. I have never been to TikTok. He told me to open a TikTok for him and share his story. So I was just trying to come up to share his story and also encourage mothers. Please don't give up. These children, they deserve love. They are not the one that created themselves. I know it's not easy, but the only thing I said to myself, God, between emotional breakdown, between begging, and between being strong, I have choose one, which is being strong. And I deal away with emotional breakdown. I deal away with where Because you know, when you are living in Canada and you are not working, you have bills to pay, you have car mortgage. Those social workers are there, but the only thing they are there is to give you what that will sustain you. But what about other things? But I said to myself, God, the fact there is life. And when I look at him, he looks healthy. When I look at him, all the weight he has lost, everything is returning back. And every single day he keeps saying, I want to go home. I want to go home. You guys to discharge me. Yesterday, in fact, he was like on argument with his team, telling them that the medication they are giving him is not working, that they should go, that they should discharge him so that he will go home. And everybody was happy to see him being bold to speak for himself, because they all know what he has been through. The only thing they told us is, because of the small bowel which that has been removed, that they are still going to schedule him for another multiple organ transplants. That, in fact, there is the one that I didn't share with you. In December, they gave up on him. That in the next 1 hour, in the next 1 week, in the next 1 month, he might buy. They now asked us to bring all his siblings to come and spend the last moment with him, and we did. They, you know, their normal way of Oyibo conducting burial ceremony, they will record his heartbeat while he's still breathing. They put it on in a teddy bear for memory remembrance. They thumbprint his finger and construct it in a necklace chain. The necklace chain is with me in my bag, in case if eventually he dies, so that we will use that to remember him. But my God didn't said is his time. The God that created great Victor didn't say it is time. And I believe every single day when I feel weak, when I feel like giving up, something will keep telling me, if you give up, that will be the end. Do not give up. Even I was literally seeing, when I felt that I am tired, I can literally see that things begin to go worst. But when I feel like rising up and said, no, I am not accepting this, I will help him. I will say different things to him. I would prophesy positively to him. You will see life begin to come back. And that was exactly what happened. 2 good times. They gave up on him October, they gave up on him December. In fact, that December one was so severe that he even had a cardiac arrest. And they resuscitated him in 2 minutes. He had a cardiac arrest in my presence. I went to church. He didn't call me. So I felt that what is going on is unlike him. He should have called me by now. So instead of me going to the hotel, because we are in British Columbia, where the transplant happened was in Edmonton. So instead of me going back to the hotel while I was in the church, I felt that something is not going well. Mothers, if you are connected to your children, there is something I call body language. Whenever your child is in danger, the body language will speak to you. There is no doubt about it. I felt that body language, that something is not right. Normally, if I go to church, I will first of all go to the hotel, refresh up, have some brunch before going to the hospital. But on that day, instead of me to walk because from the church to the hotel is 30 minutes walk. Instead of me to walk, I had to book Uber and went straight to the hospital. Only for me to arrive, I saw him like a kind of stumbling, trying to, I can't even explain the condition I met him. When I spoke to him, I'm like, great, what is it? He was like, I don't know. His voice was literally echoing. Then I held him. I said, what happened? Your voice was good when I left. Your voice was sounding okay when I left. This is just a kind of 2-hour service. and I didn't even go to the hotel. He kept telling me, I don't know. My chest, I can't breathe. The next thing I saw was somebody that, and immediately the nurses were around and everything. They came, they checked, they started raising alarm. The next thing I saw them conducting CPR, chest compression, and everything. They revived him. So after that resuscitating him, they felt that every of his organ has dropped down. That was when they came up with the news. He's not going to do this, he's not going to do that, and anything can happen in the next 1 hour, in the next 2 hours, in the next 1 day, that we should quickly bring his siblings and everything. And we did. We did. But God came through for him. Even at that point, they made me to sign that there is no point conducting another CPR or chest compression, that if anything happens, that I have to agree. Because after they resuscitate him, there was this life support machine they put him, that I watched him for like 3-4 days. He's not talking, he's not moving, because he's connected from his mouth down to his throat. He's not talking, he's not moving, he's not saying anything. So I became so curious, telling them that they should remove that thing, that I want to speak to him. Because they said why he cannot talk, because of the tube they connected down to his throat is a breathing tube with the life support machine or whatsoever. So they said he's under medication that has put him to sleep so that he doesn't move, for that stuff not to injure him. I said they should stop the medication, that I want him to regain consciousness and I want to speak to him. So there was this back and front. They said if they remove it, on no circumstances will they return it back. And if anything happens, on no circumstances will they resuscitate him. No chest compression, no CPR, nothing. I said, go ahead. I told them that not anything that wants to happen, no problem. If that is the way God wants it, I surrender. But it's not what I want. All I want is I want to have a conversation with my child. It has been more than days, and I cannot watch him facing his front. If they want to turn him, they have to push him one side or the other side. Then they removed it, I think on Saturday. On Sunday, Monday, he regained consciousness. He started talking. He started asking for water. Then miracles started happening. He began to breathe without the breathing tube. Even the oxygen they left, I asked them to remove the oxygen. That was how they removed the oxygen. And he began to breathe without oxygen. And this is how he flew all the way from Edmonton. They had to package him in a private jet, move him back to base here in BC. So to them, they told us they've done everything they can do for now. There is nothing medically, nothing surgically, nothing clinically, nothing. That they will watch him after 1 year. If my enemies did not buy, they will schedule him for another surgery because of the absence of the digestive system. Because now there is no amount of anything that will go through his mouth that will give him nutrient in his body. So my story is, I don't know what God have for me. I know he would live. And I don't know if I should go in, accept the next surgery, because what I have seen in these past 11 years. And the only thing I promise God is, on no account will I swear for this man because of his nonchalant attitude. Because India has testified where he made a mistake, that it should be a team surgery, not him alone. Here in Canada, the same thing has also confirmed, even when they remove the damaged organ, the way he packaged everything, it was wrong packaging. They said the intestine, everything was twisted. And I said to myself, God, I have chosen my battle, which is perfect all that concern this child. I refuse to give attention to negativity, to whatsoever or anyone who has done this thing to my child. It is only you that will judge, but all I choose is your total completion, total perfection. Nothing will be missing, nothing will be broken.
Amen.
And I have not said anything.
Uh,
Despite this child, this man has not reached out to this child to say how is he doing, despite he knew the level of damage he did to this child. And I was told that the level of damage that he has done to this child will lead him to not just one condemning organ, but many. And when we came to Canada, they confirmed it.
Ben
So,
Victor, I want to ask you something. So your child has been in the hospital for how many months now?
you said
Your child has been in the hospital for how many months now?
he had that transplant on August last year, 7th.
Mm,
And since we left August 6th,
mm,
they flew him from BC to Edmonton on August 6th, and he had the transplant because I just came back from work one fateful day on the 6th of August, and we are like, they called us, they found a donor, can we move him? That was how we rushed him. And he had the transplant on August 7th. Since August 7th date, he's still in the hospital. I resumed work yesterday. If I close, I am heading straight to BC.
okay. And who stays with him there? Support
Nobody,
workers.
no one. We have tried countless times to bring a family member. They denied us visa twice because I wanted to bring
So
someone.
so yeah, so just your husband is not there.
My husband is here with me.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, my husband is here with me, but he's with other kids.
But when I get, do you guys have like contact when I take the
You
video
said?
call? You have like
Yes.
contact video call when you talk to him?
Yes, yes. Always. Always.
What's your son like? Is he jovial? Can he talk to people?
In fact,
Is he okay?
you, had it been when I sent a request, had it been I was picked on time, he would have joined the live.
Mm,
He's so jovial,
mm,
he would have joined the live. But I started joining the live around 11.
mm,
Around, yes, I think around 11 or 12, if I'm not mistaken.
mm.
Then I have
When, when,
left the hospital.
when is his birthday?
His birthday is July 29.
July 29.
June, I think June or July 29. I can't remember. Pardon
I
me.
don't, I'm asking because I don't mind catching up. Make I say hello. Maybe not on the live stream, maybe private.
No, even another request I want is just for people to hear his story. That's all.
Mm,
Send him greetings, bravery comments, because his resilience to this journey is nothing to write home about. In fact, at some point, I wanted to reach out to Very Dark Man to help me plead to Lagos State Teaching Hospital and Lagos State government, even if it is an award, a bravery award, a hero medal, they should just give to him. I'm not fighting any war, and I'm not seeking for any justice. God will justify his case for him. I have tried countless times. Even when people will say, fight, I told them that I have chosen my battle and I'm not going back to it. All I want is Nigerians, Lagos State Teaching Hospital, Lagos State government, at least, great, you are a brave. We are sorry for whatsoever that has happened to you. It's not intentional, and I agree with that. I believe that. That is all I want. And I want people to hear his story, how he has been so strong, how he has been in and out of hospital. After the transplant, he went in 4 times for a major surgery, bleeding, name it. So, and anyone he undergo, they will say they are not sure of
the successful, but he kept pulling through. He kept fighting for his life. He is a fighter. When they say, I used to hear that they said somebody is a fighter. I have seen a fighter in him. I have seen a survival in him. I have seen braveness in him. That hero spirit, I have seen it in him. And even the hospital, they agreed that yes, this is indeed a replicant of fighter, brave, hero, name it all. And I don't know why Nigerians does not acknowledge braveness. They don't celebrate braveness. If I have my way, all I want is for him to be celebrated for his braveness. That's all. Because he deserves it. He was not sick, but his liver was messed up for no reason. That has put him in a pain that he's living today. I don't even know how long he has to deal with this. You can imagine a child going through this from 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years. Now he is going to 12. Please, mothers, be strong for your child. They are the only source of life and strength they have.
Is there any way? Is there any way? I don't know if it's just this TikTok account, because Nigeria is a failed country, all right? Even if we push hard for Nigeria, Nigeria is a failed country. The people that needs to celebrate this boy and put him and give him that excitement he needs are the people who hear his story. Nigeria, imagine those who don't even have the money to sort this problem if they're in Nigeria. You get people, children who don't buy. Nigeria can't do anything, whether we create an announcement or whatever. The best thing that we can do for this boy is for this boy to see it happening in his eyes. If he has a TikTok account or you
Exactly.
have him here, he comes on live stream. Make we use gift spoil him. After spoiling him, not just sending him TikTok gift, after spoiling him, a lot of us are willing to just use his picture as profile pictures. A lot of us go just put him. He go just come here. He go to see gift. He will see the love. He will feel it. He's 11 years. He will feel the love. We don't get 13 years. We come here and she loved the love she was receiving. She will come here, feel the gift, and I'm telling you, even me, and like I said, I'm more than happy to talk to your son privately when I get time. I get a lot
No
of time.
problem. No problem,
So,
Odogo.
so it's something to bring him here,
I
and
will.
we go. He's gonna have fun.
On the Children's Day, on the 27th of
Yeah, on
this month.
Children's Day, I'm going to be here, but I'm still looking at the best time because I also have
Okay.
somebody who I want to make a contact something.
No
We bring
problem.
them here. Let's have fun.
No problem.
All
No
right.
problem. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Yeah. Jessica, my sister.
Thank you
Jessica.
so much.
Write me. I'll go respond to you again. Make we know as we go take to him. But I'll be here on
Okay.
Children's Day just for children. I'll be here on
Okay.
Children's Day just for children. All right. Look after yourself. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Okay. Look after yourself.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you all.